All right, guys. Well, welcome to the Owner Spotlight. And today we're here with Adam and Trista Johnson of the Woodlands, Texas, one of our top 15 locations. And when I say top 15 locations, I mean one of the first 15 to join a place at home way back. How old are you guys now? 4 years?
Just over 4, yeah.
Just over 4, going into your 5th year. It's been a journey. And you're having a killer year right now. You're 11% year-over-year growth. You got a team, you got infrastructure, and it's very exciting to see. So welcome, guys. How are you?
Good.
Doing very well.
All right. Well, let's jump right into the why, the big why. So you guys come from a very diverse background. You got law, you got insurance, there's some farm life, and that led you both to senior care. What was the reasoning for the shift from that into senior care?
Want me to start? Would you like to go?
You start, Adam.
The shift into senior care, it's a kind of a long journey, but ultimately after Trista's dad, my father-in-law's stroke, we really experienced some of the hardships having to do with finding care that you felt like was high enough standard to help your family kind of get through that period, that tough time, right? And so, long story short, we ended up losing our jobs. Our positions were eliminated coming out of COVID, put it that way. And Trista started digging around and looking at a few different franchises. And senior care seemed to be a very natural fit, given some of our experiences with her father, with my grandmother. And so here we are.
Awesome. What about you, Trista?
The shift was really triggered by, I guess, necessity, needing to do something with our lives. Adam and I both lost our jobs around the same time. I was an attorney. He was working for an insurance company. I still am an attorney, yes, technically. And so there's the necessity, needing to do something after losing our jobs and looking to do something meaningful, kind of just complete shift from what we were doing, not finding satisfaction in what we were doing, and always wanting to have our own business. I think we have an entrepreneurial spirit, so we wanted to find something that would give us meaningful work. And yes, my dad's stroke really put me in that direction when I was looking for business opportunities. My father's stroke was very life-changing for the whole family. We had never dealt with something like that before. His rehab, of course, spanned over the course of several months and required my mom to spend a lot of time taking him to appointments and supporting him. So understanding how difficult that is for families and thinking about that, it just really triggered us looking into services that would help families through something like that.
Nice. Yeah, that's you're like a lot of people have a story as to reason why, and I had an opportunity to meet your father. We had a nice drive. I think we drove 20 minutes, and he talked to me for all 20 minutes.
And he probably spent a good bulk of it talking about his stroke and then being hospitalized during COVID as well.
I think he was.
Yeah.
And I think he was driving us, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Which is totally against policy. You never will let our clients drive the caregivers. But in that situation, he wanted to drive, and we let him drive, the CEO of the brand and a franchise owner. We made it.
Yes. And he's very proud of that, because that was one of the things that he couldn't do after his stroke was drive a vehicle. And that was very difficult for probably about a year, having to rely on other people. So he has maintained or regained his independence with driving, and he's very proud of that. So thank you for letting him drive.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
He's a great driver.
Still driving today? That was cool.
Yes.
Even rode a bike recently, just one time, and then he was done. But
yeah. He still has residual effects. He gets dizzy, so he does not ride the bike. He tried it, not for him. So
sure, fair enough. Sticking to your guys' going back to your professional backgrounds with it on the next question is, how did your past lives affect you on how you run your agency? You see cross there?
Yeah, so being an attorney, I think that comes into play that I'm very focused on policies, procedures, having structures in place and being fully compliant and transparent in everything we do. So that's how the attorney background plays into how I operate.
Was worked for a large insurance company, but for the lion's share of that time, I was in some form of leadership or another. Even managed a team of RNs at one point. So that was kind of my background is being good at leading people, project management, just making sure that everybody was kind of rowing in the same direction in the boat, which I think was super helpful when you're trying to get a business off the ground.
For sure, especially when you're trying to build a team. And now you have how many team members do you have in the inner office?
4 in the office, about 40 caregivers right now.
40 caregivers. And I believe they've all 4 of your people have been with you for over a year now, right?
They have.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Is Lee's daughter still there too?
Correct. Yep.
This from the video, but nice. All right. Well, we talked about your dad. Going into the next question, how did that moment with your dad affect how you serve and approach families, maybe going through the same thing or going just through a crisis situation? How has that, I want to say helped you with that, but how did that situation make it relatable, and how do you use it every day in your business?
So I use a situation with my dad. It's a conversation starter, at least with families, especially if they've just experienced a stroke. But most of the families we deal with have never heard of senior care, senior services, have never experienced a traumatic illness or injury or whatever's going on. It's their first kind of, they need our services by necessity, really, right? Of course. So they don't even know we exist. So it helps us relate to them being suddenly thrust into this really emotional, complicated ordeal. So we can we've been there. We can explain things in a way that maybe others can't, and we understand the emotional side of it. So it's not just a business transaction. It helps us relate to them and help them get resources. Even if we can't help with something, we can kind of anticipate what they're going to need down the line. So because we've been there. So it definitely helps us relate. And again, it helps it be less of a business transaction. It feels weird sometimes to call this a business because it's so personal and we're working with families. But so it just helps us relate a lot better and be useful.
I think it helps us really be able to identify and explain the value, our value proposition, right? What we're here to help you with. I think specifically about my grandmother and when she was nearing the end, she was in a nursing home, and this was in the middle of COVID, and they wouldn't even let my mother, her sisters, any relatives go see her. They could ultimately look at her through a window outside, right? Can't talk to her. She had Alzheimer's. She was obviously very confused, and all my aunts, my mother, uncles, all they want to do is go see grandma, right? And try and spend some time with her, comfort her a little bit. Very easy for us to find value in helping the aging population stay home. One, it's likely a place where they spend a large portion of their years, sweat equity, blood equity, whatever you want to call it as well. And they want to stay home. And so it's a very easy conversation for us to have, just kind of identifying the value we can add, and understanding the position they're in with, their children wanting their parents to stay home.
Nice. Yeah. So unfortunate situation, right, with your father, but it has helped you and relate. And then, for consumers, I guess the family members being able to relate to what they're going, I'm sure has helped you sign them, honestly, because they know that you've been through it and can relate to that. So shifting gears, running a bit. I can't wait to hear this one. Running a business as a couple.
Next question, please.
What's it really like working together as a couple? I think I know the answer to this. I'm interested to see who's the realist and who's the dreamer. Who's
thought
the
about
optimist?
this.
Who's the pessimist?
I thought about this as well.
I think that's a really tough, because I think we're each a little bit of both. I'm probably too real most days. I appreciate you calling a realist and not a pessimist, but I am I like to think I'm very logical, but yeah, I'm definitely the realist, but I'm also a bit of a dreamer too, because I don't like boiling things down to numbers and treating it like a science. I really like building relationships with people, and I like the people aspect of the business most days. So I don't know. I guess I'm the realist and he's the dreamer. I don't know. What do you think?
I actually agree 100%. No, not that I'm the dreamer, that we're both, I think we're both a little of each.
Sure.
Depending on the situation. There are certainly situations I think I probably handle a little better, and some that you handle a little more effectively than I do. But from a dreaming perspective, I mean, this was her baby, her idea, right? And I was the one that really ultimately needed some convincing on the front end. One of the best decisions we've ever made. Obviously, here we are over 4 years later. But I think, Dustin, you maybe remember me coming to Omaha and going, I think we got to work cut out with this one. We got to convince him. But by the end of that meeting, I think I was the one kind of pushing her to say, this just feels right. We should do this. So yeah, I think it's probably a fair mix of both.
Yeah, I don't like to look at all the numbers and think about it. I like to say, like, does this feel good? We should definitely do it. Like, I just get a good feeling. I can be very spontaneous, and then one confronted with like numbers and things.
Facts, logic, data.
Yeah, so it's a blend of both, I guess.
I mean, I would say Adam's more numbers focused. Every time I talk to him, you'll bring up like where your billable hours are, where you're at with bottom line, and you got to have that person.
Yes.
Some of our locations don't have that person, and it's like I'm the one telling them, "Hey, do you know that you're doing this?" And like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "Gosh, why? Why don't you know that?"
Yeah, I think we kind of outlined those roles early in this process. I was going to be the one that was like, "All right, hey, numbers guy, you take care of that." And it wasn't something that I was necessarily super comfortable with, but after a while, you get comfortable being uncomfortable, especially as a business owner. So,
sure. Absolutely. Let's talk about the lanes and the roles here. How do you divide and conquer as owners? Any unspoken rules if that's your lane moments?
I think it's evolved over time, because when your first business, the first time you start a business, you're just kind of in triage mode, almost covering what you can, and there's a lot of need for gut checking. So you're both kind of doing everything together, because you're trying to figure things out and making sure that you're making the right decisions, and you want to be inclusive and deferential to your partner. You don't want to just bulldoze them and make decisions without consulting. So over time, it has evolved to where our strong suits are and to what needs to be done. We've kind of figured out over time, there's a lot of things I'm very good at, back of the house stuff, managing. I like paperwork. I like writing letters. I like writing policies, procedures. I like communicating with people in writing. Adam's better at communicating with people verbally.
we're always in compliance.
Well,
good. You need that person too.
Yeah. I don't know. It's evolved. I mean, it's just evolved, not just because of needs, but also, you find out over time where your strong suits are, and that's where you go. It can be a painful process, but because you think maybe you're good at one thing, and then you find out maybe not so much. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Like reprimanding caregivers. Right? Gotta love the caregivers.
Kid gloves.
And sometimes, as harsh as I can seem, a realist, sometimes I actually have too big of a heart towards the caregivers, and sometimes get I have a time or two, and I've learned. I've gotten bogged down and too personally involved with their situation, their lives.
Oh yeah.
And it's not always a good thing. And so
Professional boundaries.
learning to set professional boundaries, remembering why we're here and what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. I mean, that's the fine dance you dance in this business, is the professional boundaries of caregivers. You want to help them be something better, and because they do a lot for you as well, and you want to develop them professionally and personally. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they have to want that too, and that's like one of the most frustrating things. It's like, God, you're on this right path, and then all of a sudden something happens in your life, and you ghost us, and now you're gone. Just
Absolutely.
like, right?
Yeah.
So, I get it. I'm going to change this up because we kind of went through the strengths part of it. I'm going to ask, like, what a piece of advice. We have a lot of married business franchise owners in our system. What's one piece of advice that you would give to a partnership of a husband and spouse or married? What's one piece of advice that you would do to keep business and personal? Like, how do you keep business out of your personal lives? What's one piece of advice you give? Does that make sense?
It does. I don't know if we figured that out yet. I think for the most part, we do a good job. I think we try to take some time for ourselves at least once a week and just not talk about work, not talk about business. Focus on, dinner and a glass of wine and conversation that has nothing to do with work, nothing to do with, new clients or existing clients, caregivers, whatever, right? Super important to, I think, carve out a little bit of time for yourselves to not have to worry about, anything external, outside the four walls of your home.
Okay. Trista, what about you?
I'm thinking about it deeply because, like Adam said, we're still figuring it out. I think we've come a long way in 4 years. So one thing, this is silly, but one thing I said, can you stop getting all of your clothes branded? If we go out to dinner, I would like you to not wear a branded shirt.
Oh, wait a minute now.
I know.
I forgot about that.
I did that.
Fair.
It's kind of silly, but every time we would go out, he'd have the place at home hat, the shirt, the everything. And I think sometimes you got to separate.
You are a 2-time brand ambassador award winner.
I know, and there's that for good reason. But sometimes trying to create those boundaries and separation from work and your life outside of work, you have to, like, it's little things like that I find have helped me. And I know it seems
silly. Do not wear your place at home boxers to bed, Adam, one night.
I'm going to plead the fifth on that.
Yeah, it's just as much as you love the business and it is your baby and you put everything into it, sometimes you just need a reminder that you are more than a business owner. And I think we have to really actively, I have to not bring it up or ask questions or bring it up at, all the time. Like when it's nighttime, it's time to relax and unwind. Maybe we can just have like a time not to talk about it. And it very much helps. You have to have reliable staff. And we finally have that. We have people in the office who are on call, who we trust, that manage things for us. So we can now take family vacations and do things like that. So you have to get other people you can trust and rely on and talk to other than each other. Because you don't want that to be, you don't want the business and your kids to be the only thing you have in common and that you talk about. So if you plan to stay married, I guess. So, yeah, it can be big things and little things, but yeah, not always being in branded clothing and not always talking about the business, and making sure you keep up with your other hobbies, passions that you care about as well. You gotta be a little balanced. You gotta purposely try to balance things out.
Work-life balance.
Yeah,
it's hard. Even I don't work with Gianna, but every time I come home, I think you've heard me joke, I have a board meeting. Like I got a recap of what happened. you know, and I always say, why don't we ever talk about your work? She's like, my work's so boring. Yours is full of turmoil and problem solving and this and that. I'm like, yeah. I don't want to talk about it today.
And sometimes I can hear that he's on a call, and I will not ask about what it was about. If he wants to tell me, that's fine, but I will purposely not ask, even if I think it might be a little juicy or whatever happened. If he wants to tell me about it, he can. I will, because otherwise we're going to go down a rabbit hole for 20 minutes about what some caregiver or employee did. And
but it's really juicy. She'll.
It's kind of need to know. If I don't need to know about it, I just won't inquire, and he doesn't tell me.
Nice. Well, let's go to the inspiration moments that inspire. All right. You guys have been open for 4 years. Do you remember the moment when you thought, this is why we are doing this? You mentioned your dad, but is there anything in the business that you said, yes, this is where we're meant to be?
I know exactly where I'm going.
Well, I think you're going to talk about the one family that we love. Yeah. There was a family that we started working with about, was it over a year into the business? And
the lady I met?
No.
No, absolutely not. No. And no, just
think of her. This is the complete opposite.
And this family, so it was a married couple. The daughter and son-in-law reached out to us, and the mother, her mom had dementia, and then her dad had a lot of physical ailments. So the combination, this couple, one had physical ailments, the other one had kind of
he broke his neck like 3 times. It's crazy.
He just had a whole lot of stuff going on. So they needed help, and we ultimately worked with them at different times, providing 24/7 services. We helped them eventually moved into memory care and assisted living. We were with them through, 2 years of the end of life stages with this family. And they've both since passed away. I ended up having to fill a shift the night before the father passed away, and I was with him. So I was with him during his final hours the next morning. And I actually it turns out I really like working with hospice patients, but I just thought it was kind of an honor to be there with the family through all of this. And they ultimately ended up mentioning us by name in the obituaries, and we went to the funerals, and we just really got to know the family, and they thanked us so much. So I just being able to have a relationship with the family and be a part of that was that's why we're involved. And that made us feel very good and made us work harder, I think, to serve that family and take care of them. So it was just very meaningful.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly the same family for me. And I'm thinking, just to kind of add on to that a little bit, they invited us to the funeral, the celebration of life afterwards at their home. And they literally walked us around, introducing us to the entire family. Oh, this is Adam Trista. Oh, they've done so much for mom and dad. You meet all these people, not just their family, but all their friends and everybody that came to that celebration of life. And they went out of their way to talk about how wonderful we were, and it was a really amazing experience.
Yeah, the impact is real, right? Like I'll share with you when I went to Dina's service. Someone, the son a son of a client came to the service and went up and spoke about her, spoke how she impacted in front of everybody. And I had the pleasure of talking to him afterwards. And when I went up there and said a few words, but mine were like moms and like Dina, all this stuff. And he comes up to me, he goes, "I didn't know she cursed so much." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Sailor.
But the point is, she made such an impact on that family, and they made it a point to come and speak about how she impacted their family at her funeral. So I mean, it's kind of the opposite, right? But the impact is real. And so many people in home care can get bogged down with all the negative, the caregiver, the bad caregivers, which is only like 10%, right? And you always remember what they did.
Yeah.
But think about it. out of the 5 major instances that's happened with caregivers in the last 4 years, how many good instances happen compared to those, right? Same thing with the family. You may get a family that just is like, this is unbelievable, but how many families have you had impacts on? So you take the good with the bad, but the good far outweighs the bad, right?
It
Absolutely.
definitely does. And I think that's part of what is lacking in the legal profession, or at least what I did, was I'd work really hard on a case, or you're churning paper, you're doing these things, and you don't really ever get to see the real life impact on people. It's just different. Being able to see that kind of immediate result, I guess, is pretty cool, and meaningful result. So I like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. What lights you up the most today? It's 4 years in today. What lights you up the most?
There is something I enjoy the obviously, making an impact is fun, but that little sales piece, that spark you get when you sign that new client and you got that first shift scheduled, and I've said this to Trista for years, but like my favorite part of the week is cutting payroll checks, like knowing that I'm helping people pay their bills and make sure that they have food on the table and like that. So every time I sign a new client, that's more hours I can provide for my team, right? Like there's something so satisfying about that. So it's kind of a combination of that, right? Like getting that new client and then getting it staffed and knowing you're helping, but also I'm providing a solid wage for somebody who's looking for work and wants to do the right thing.
Yeah.
I love when you make the perfect pairing between a caregiver and a client, when you get that call or that confirmation from the client or their family, and they're just like in love with the caregiver and it's going really well. I just like when you actually make that good connection, because that means you've understood the client and their needs, you understand your caregivers, your caregivers, and it all just meshes. That's a good thing.
Do you feel like a bit of a matchmaker from time to time? Yeah.
Dating service. It's great.
Yeah.
How has your own family journey made you better at supporting the family? I kind of already asked this question. But supporting the families that you work with, how's your own? Anything to add there?
Can you ask the question again? Sorry.
How has your own family journey made you better at supporting the families you work with? I said I already kind of asked this, but if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on it. Just having gone through it, right? With our own family specifically, but then not just with our own family, but we've seen, dozens of other families over the course of the last, 4+ years go through very similar situations. If there's a family out there going through something, it's likely we've seen somebody else go through it.
Sure.
Seen how they've navigated it or helped them navigate it ourselves. So I feel like we're in a very good position to at least kind of be a sounding board, because we do get those calls periodically from family members about assisted living, about memory care. What do you think we should do? What are the next steps? Is it safe for mom and dad to stay home? Or how do I apply for this benefit? All those things, right? That those questions that can come up that, people just don't know what resources are available, and they're definitely going to be looking to us and our team to be able to answer some of those questions. So I feel like we're in a good spot for that.
Yeah, we are not selling windows or cars, pest control services, widgets. It's a very unique business. And so if you have not experienced caring for a loved one or had to bring in a third party to take care of your loved one, it is very scary to think about bringing a stranger into your grandma's home, your parents' home, whatever it is. So for us to have some experience in navigating all these different things, it is very helpful, because it's just a much different product or service that you're selling. And so we can kind of anticipate what their concerns are. Who are these caregivers? They don't get to pick the caregiver. We get to pick the caregiver. So they have a lot of questions about their background, their experience. And so being able to speak about our own experience helps build trust, which they have to have in you and your company. Because again, they don't get to pick the caregiver, and they also, Adam and I are not the caregivers, or our salesperson is not the caregiver. So you have to be able to go out and speak to their concerns with some level of authority, and we can do that, help ease their very understandable fears and concerns when looking to hire a company like ours. So
Awesome.
it definitely helps.
Well, so hiring, and let's get into the challenges, lessons, and growth. You guys ready? It's
a mouthful.
We got to go back here. What's something that caught you off guard in your first year that you've totally mastered today?
Totally mastered. Wow, that's a strong statement. I would say, I don't know if I could say totally mastered. I think we have a solid control of, I'll say, after hours, phone calls, issues. Like that's the one thing that's personally for me, like I was like, oh wait, that's right. This is a 24/7 business. Huh. So at 5 o'clock, it doesn't shut down. Between 5 p.m. and 8 a.m., like there's still going to be people calling, clients are going to call, their families are going to call, the caregivers are going to call, caregivers are going to call out. That was something that we really struggled with early. And I feel like we're in a position now where we've learned to let some of that go, right? Delegate some of those responsibilities out to my team. And they've been running with it for a couple of years now. Mm-hmm. So I would say, I don't know.
Well, I think we've mastered the art of saying no. Not every client or family is a good fit for us and our team. So, when you first open a business, you're kind of willing to take anybody who's willing to become a client or needs your service. You're kind of taking any kind of business you can get. And over time, we've realized that is not the best approach. There are clients that need a different level of service or different type of service, or our values don't align. So we can kind of sniff that out on the front end. We know what questions to ask. We know what behaviors to look for. And we're able to, diplomatically, kindly either refer them elsewhere, help them find a better fit, because we're not for everyone. So I think we're better about that, because if you take on a client or even a caregiver that's, is going to just not work out, it's better to just not go down that path at all and kindly exit stage left. So
stick to your care values, right?
Yes.
Nice. All right. As entrepreneurs, what's one lesson that stuck with you? Maybe something you'd even pass. It says your daughter's here. I don't know if Mariana got that, but your sons one day.
Yes. Can you ask it one more time, Dustin? I'm sorry.
As entrepreneurs, what's one lesson that stuck with you? Maybe something you'd even pass on to your sons one day. It's a life lesson you've learned.
Stay the course. There's going to be highs. There's going to be lows. Don't try not to let yourself get too beaten down by some of those lows. I think you even mentioned a little bit earlier, Dustin. There's going to be lows. There's going to be highs, but in large part, those highs significantly outnumber the lows. It's going to be important to remember that while you're going through it. But just stay the course, finish the job, stick with it. Whatever phrase works best there. But that's kind of what I'd take away from it. I think our sons have seen that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, life lesson.
You're hesitant there. Do you agree with that, Trista?
Oh, yes. I was just thinking about how our boys have been along for the ride of this journey of owning a business, and how it really has impacted them too, obviously. So I think our oldest is somewhat interested in taking over one day. But,
being an entrepreneur.
So we haven't scared him from that, or being an entrepreneur, having his own business. So that's good. I'm just trying to think of a big, I think if you want to own your own business, especially for us going into an area that we weren't necessarily completely familiar with when we started, given our different backgrounds, you have to surround yourself with people that know what they're doing and seek wise counsel. So that is why being part of a franchise for us was important. So just listen to the experts, do your homework, and don't necessarily go off and do your own thing. Don't reinvent the wheel where you don't have to. So just seek wise counsel and educate yourself, and listen to those who know what they're talking about.
And I think entrepreneurs generally are more risk takers, right? I think our boys have seen that. If you're going to bet on someone, bet on yourself. Why not?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Okay. Going back real quick though, I was going to say something with Adam. Is you saw the message I wrote yesterday. We got a lot of new owners right now who they get beat down, and it's like, and I remember even with you guys and even anyone who goes through it, is I have to look, as coaches, we have to really push and like, it's kind of like working out. Is the best way I can put it is, if you want to gain muscle, you got to keep going, right? If you show up to the gym twice a week, you're not going to have the results you want.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to lose weight,
progressive overload.
Dieting once a week, having a meatless Monday isn't going to do nothing to your weight. Right. And my point is like doing that one more rep, getting done with the day and then saying, hey, I have 45 minutes left and there's an assisted living right over there. And you could have had a horrible day. If you just do that one more rep, you never know. You walk in, you might catch the executive director or the director of nursing, and they're talking to a family right then and there, like, heck, right here. And your end of your day could be great.
Yeah.
So it's just like, always do it one more. Keep hitting the play button every single day. And that's like, I think that's the biggest challenge for a lot of new people who come from corporate America and go into owning their own business.
Yeah.
Is you lose your accountability partner, right? Your boss at your job is your accountability measure. You just became that person, and now you got to hold yourself accountable. And the franchisor can only push you so hard, right? Because at the end of the day, we aren't your boss, but we can tell you what other people have gone through. So I'm glad you said you just got to keep going.
You said that about assisted living being 45 minutes. Right, you got 45 minutes left of assisted living right there. My sales manager, Lee, she if she's having one of those days, she's always told me, she goes, if I'm having a day where nobody says yes, it's just one of those days, I always end it at an assisted living.
Yeah.
Go in, if assisted living, remember, go in, they're going to give you a great tour. You're going to meet the residents. And she's like, you can't walk out not feeling better about your day. So it's interesting you said that.
Yeah. Anything, just one more thing.
Yeah, it's hard being rejected. You are going to be rejected. I don't deal well with rejection. So you got to get used to people saying no, and you can't cry about it. You can't get mad. You just have to kind of suck it up and move on. So you have to be willing to fail over and over again and be rejected and just not let it get you down. It's not personal most of the time. So
Just think about what me and Adam went through to find you and Jana. We've been told no, and finally, someone said yes.
Yeah,
I finally tricked someone.
Yeah, it's a blow to your ego, your pride when you've been successful. Because Adam and I were both successful in our careers, I think, and people listening to me. I'm the attorney. People listen to me. They want to hear what I have to say. They rely on my advice. And then now I'm in this world where I have to, people tell me no, we're not interested, or no, we're going to go with a different agency, and try to figure out why and do better next time. So,
yeah. We got like 10 minutes left here. I'm going to jump into your team. So, what makes your team special? Any inside jokes, team rituals, standout stories amongst yourselves?
What makes them special?
You got a ritual in the Woodlands?
Ritual?
No. I think we it's going to be boring, but we keep our lines of communication open. For those folks, like, call me when you need me. They're a pretty laid back group. When it's time to get to work, they get to work. I guess the ritual is like, I take them to lunch like once a month during our team meeting. Like, where do you want to go? It's on the house. Uncle APH's got this. Like, get whatever you want. I don't care. Like, so little things like that. But I don't
ritual. Yeah. Anytime
my team is like twice a week.
New in-office hire, we have a special lunch. If it's a holiday or like a birthday, we'll do that. Some of the ladies, like, I've given them silly things. I'll give them little gifts. I haven't been good about this lately, but like, somebody has a positive pickle on their desk. They're these cute little things, crocheted things. I kind of you find them on Amazon.
Forgot about the positive
pickle. I've seen those.
Like, little, just cute, silly things to brighten their day. I think we all have a really good sense of humor. I'm very sarcastic, so are some of the others. So we try to keep it fun. And sometimes I'm trying to think of, like, not offensive jokes about clients or anything, but some of our clients are quirky or have cute things that we do, and we all know about it. That's something unique to only those of us in the office know about at our location. Like, just certain clients, I'm trying to think, like, some clients just have some quirks, and we all, I don't know, we'll adopt them somehow. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I don't know.
Oh, no worries. No, that's great. So no sacrificial lambs. You don't like make them sign in blood when they sign their employment agreement?
One's biting the head off a chicken or a bat or anything like that. Yeah, none of that.
You're better.
That's a good idea, though. That might be the next office hire.
Initiation. Here's a bat. Let's see it.
Give me your best Ozzy Osbourne impression.
Yeah.
What's in the Woodlands? Obviously, the Woodlands is a pretty tight-knit, unique community from what I understood when I was out there. How have you gotten involved and built connections locally? What's been your biggest success story?
The local chamber, and then getting involved in the high school as well has been huge. Great way to get in touch with different families. I know, Trista, we recently got involved with local high school, but we spent a lot of time with the local chambers as well. But then it was a lot of boots on the ground outside of that, right? Just getting out, stopping in different communities, stopping at different hospitals, rehabs, you name it. We've been in that building. So I think the chambers of commerce is probably the easiest and most effective way for us to initially, right away. Kind of make our faces seen.
I think we invest in a lot of events at assisted living communities, memory care, little things. We'll go with another like a hospice company or something like that. We'll do snow cones during happy hour at one of the communities.
We sponsored a softball tournament last year for special needs youth, actually, which was kind of cool.
So it's a variety of things, but as far as like greatest success, who's our strongest? I think who our strongest. Last year we put together an event. I don't know if we're doing it again this year, but we did a veterans.
We're planning it right now.
Thank you. So we had like an inaugural veterans. It was right around Veterans Day, an event focused on raising money for vets and
the local VA, and then another company got all the proceeds. Yeah.
So we had a silent auction, and it was actually really fun. We had a band and raised money for an organization. So I think
sorry, I misspoke. It was the local VFW.
Yeah. So I think it's a lot of events, community events, because those are fun. People want to go to those and have a good time, let loose. We talk a little bit about business, but it's for fun, and you just build relationships with people. So that's the kind of stuff I like to do.
And it's the business you can garner just going out there and not necessarily talk. You can talk about what you do, but just, developing relationships versus selling a product. It's amazing the number of phone calls you'll get because people remember you, they remember your business, but I remember meeting you at this event, and so we've tried to do a bit more of that sort of relationship building, and it seems to be paying off.
Nice. All right. Good stuff, man. You guys are doing good. I mean, you're growing, so you're doing something right in the community. So let's move on to wisdom of future franchisees. Ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, this one's easy.
Someone called and said, were you thinking about opening a place at home? What would you tell them? Honestly. I love how you put that in here. Honestly.
No, I mean,
we'll edit this one out. No.
Yeah. Obviously, it's worked out well for us, but you have to be ready to work, and you have to be ready to fully understand the business. You have to be able to understand the perspective of the families, the clients, and that your local community, what's unique to that, and who else is out there. But this is not the off-the-shelf widget that you're selling. You don't just like hang a shingle and then the business starts flowing in without you putting your personal touch on it and getting out there and working really hard. You have to be ready to work hard. This is not, it's not a Chick-fil-A and just everybody's going to flock and there's going to be long lines.
If you're looking to invest in a business and you want to be an absentee owner, this is not the business for you.
For sure. It could be done and done by one owner of ours.
Yeah. Give it 6 years of hard work and then maybe think about stepping back and letting somebody else do it.
No, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And that goes to Mitch, right? We don't get a lot of people who want to go and be absentee owners in this because Mitch pretty much puts that to bed at the discovery phase. So what mindset or habits do you think helped you get through the ups and downs of the first couple of years? Kind of talked about this, but what's the mindset you have to have? Trista, you've said you got to be able to be told no and just keep going. I pulled that out of it. Adam, you said this is pretty much the same thing, that you could have a bad day, but you just got to keep going.
Yeah. And I think just from a mindset perspective and my sheer sanity, I stopped looking at things. And I honestly got this from you, Dustin. So I'm stealing it. I'm plagiarizing it shamelessly, but it worked. Stop looking at every little thing, every hire, anything you're spending money on as an expense, and start looking at them as investments into your business and into your sanity and into your growth. Right. As soon as I started to kind of flip that switch, it was easier to let the dollars go. Right. But then also like my beard stopped turning gray and I was not having sleepless nights, and it was too late. It's already all gray. So, but yeah, I just, but that mindset you can use in a lot of different areas, right? It doesn't have to be just, on your purse strings. Just, stop looking at things like everything's this taxing thing, right? It's a moment, it'll pass, right? And then on to the next success or the next issue you need to solve.
Yeah, that's good. What about you, Trista?
I guess the mindset that I've had to develop over time is to take things less personally, treat it like the business that it is, invest in it. But when you do have those bad days, you are told no, try not to take it personally, and remember this is a business, and it is basically customer service. So you have to work really hard not to take things personally and continue to treat it like a business. I'm still working on this personally myself, but
no, you'll always have that though, because you have an innate competitive nature, right? And so, like I always say, I'm my own worst competitor. Like if I fail at something, I'm gonna try it. I'm not gonna stop until I fix it, right? That's been, as a franchisor, I will tell you, that's like my number one thing. I'm so competitive with kind of our franchisees, right? Like I had a franchisee say I turned someone down the other day, and it was a brand new franchisee. And I said, why? And they said, I didn't have the staff to do 72 hours. I'm like, guys, this is like your first client. This could have been your first client. We would have figured this out. And I said, this is my fault. This is my fault. You weren't prepared enough to take this client on. And so I'm going to take the brunt end of the stick. But now guess what? We're going to recruit people now so this never happens again. Right. And so I had to push them a little harder. And what I found out was they were overthinking the caregivers, right? They're like, I want the perfect caregiver. I'm like, listen, you're going to kiss a lot of frogs. You got to take risks on people, because resumes, I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, but the resumes that you see today, especially with the emergence of ChatGPT, mean absolutely nothing. Like, to me, if I were to ask you guys this question, would you take experience or a good personality who's willing to learn? Which one would you take?
Personality, willing to learn.
Exactly.
All day.
And so all these new owners are like, this person's a CNA of 10 years and I really like her. I'm like, don't be ashamed if she ghosts you. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta just ease up, take your chances on people, because some of them will shock you. And you guys have seen it with Ashley Arenas, that caregiver who has been with us for 10 years. I told her no. And her mom called me. Never happened in my life, because she was 18 at the time. And she's still with Chris and Rick today. She's 12 years in. And her mom called me and she's like, can you just give her a chance? And I'm like, she didn't even know how to spell the word cat. She spelled it K-A-T. Bless her heart, right? And I'm like, all right, I'll give her a shot. And here she is today. She works 30 hours a week consistently, doesn't call out. I think she's had like 5 car accidents, though.
Oh,
that's one little downslide for her. But you can't judge books by a cover. My point is that they were stonewalling themselves because they were trying to find this perfect caregiver, and they're not out there. Like, the best ones, you got to take chances on people.
Yeah.
We have one like that. She has been with us a couple years now. Her name's Ketty, and we did not know about her. She didn't have a driver's license. She doesn't drive. She's from one of the Caribbean islands and then lived in New York for years, just never got it. She's just worked out amazing. She's still been with us for years. She's gotten to every shift.
She doesn't miss shifts.
She does not miss. And she is so sweet, so kind, and she does a great job. But it's like, you're trying to fit them in a box. They don't always fit, but they end up being one of the best. Sorry about our birds chirping.
That's all right.
It was definitely her personality, right? She had experience, but it was absolutely her personality. I remember talking to just after the interview saying, she doesn't have a license. Like, how's she going to get to work and back? I know she assured me. So as a matter of fact, her daughter actually called me. Her daughter's a social worker and said something very similar. I'm like, all right. She's like, I promise you, she will not miss shifts. I'm like, all right. And so we gave her a shot, and she's been with us for almost 2 years now.
Nice.
Matter of fact, she just picked up a shift for us on Sunday.
There you go. You just never know. Just never know. You got to just take your chances. Sometimes you're going to be, and that's another thing I would say too, is you're never going to be 100% right.
No,
right?
No.
You're going to be wrong. Move on.
We've struck out a couple times. Yeah.
And now when people disappoint me, I don't, again, take it so personally. I'm not so personally dejected. It's just, they have their reasons for whatever they're doing. I may not find them out, but I move on.
Move on.
Mm-hmm.
Last question, then I'm going to get to some fun ones, the couples edition of Rapid Fire.
Oh, boy.
And I'm going to switch this up. I ask everybody, what would you say the one major role the franchisor took in your success? Headquarters, I guess you would say.
I'm going to go first.
It could be nothing.
Dustin, you're just going to you're just fishing for compliments.
No. Don't. You don't have to say me, but the team, anybody. I asked
everybody. It's multiple things really, but it's the resources that you've made available, and then the ongoing coaching. Let's say there's 3. So those 2, and then one more. I think the access that's provided to other owners while you're going through your growth period, and even today, right? There's a few owners out there that we've kind of come up with, so to speak, and we'll still. I know if I called them right now, they'd answer their phone, and if I had an issue, that we'd hash it out, or I could call Danny or Shane. They'd be more than happy to help. I could call you and Jared, and I guarantee you answer your phone, right? So it's the availability, the resources, coaching, right? All those things, right? I think are super important. Have been really, really key to our success.
Nice. All right. Trista, anything to add?
Just that it helps to be part of a recognized brand. And so, especially as the franchise grows, people know who A Place at Home is. That gives you, more credibility when you're out there trying to get new clients and caregivers. So it has been important to be part of a recognized brand, and just the support we got to get started in a business again, we were not necessarily familiar with when we started. So we could not have done it without the franchise telling us how to operate this business.
Awesome. Thank you guys. See, ready for rapid fire?
I'm going to shut this door.
Birds are driving me nuts.
How many birds? Did you still only have the two?
Two. Only two. Yeah, only two.
All right. Here we go. Real quick, and then we'll end it up. Who's more likely to start the day at 5 a.m. and who's hitting snooze?
That's easy.
5 a.m. Snooze.
There you go. What's your favorite way to unwind after a long day at the agency?
Bourbon. Beehive. She has her own room. We call it the Beehive. It's like the man cave, but for Trista.
Nice.
Do a lot of diamond dot art and puzzles and wine in there.
Nice.
Sometimes water the plants.
That or maybe an episode of Ted Lasso. Who knows?
Yeah, Ted Lasso's good. You know they're bringing it back, I heard.
I heard that. Very excited.
Who's the numbers nerd and who's the people person?
We answered this already.
I don't know if I'm either. I don't know if I'm either one. Adam might be both. Depends on the day. No, Adam's definitely the numbers nerd. I can be a people person.
I love people.
Can be, but don't want to be. We'll go to a chamber event. She's like, you go mingle and introduce yourself. I'm going to be over here in the booth having a glass of wine.
I go for the free food. I have my moments.
I think we're both a little of each. Honestly.
A little of each.
Yeah.
All right. This one will be fun here. We'll start with Trista. If your team had to describe you in 2 to 3 words, what would they say?
Say I was honest and funny.
Honest and funny. That's 3 words.
You said 2 to 3. I picked 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I think they would say I'm reliable and accountable.
Nice. So
I hope.
honest and funny.
I hope.
Helpful.
Helpful. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Lee. I'll G
A third word would be available. Like
available.
If the team calls me, like I don't not answer calls.
Nice. That's a good thing. Last one. What's your dream vacation? Relaxing beach or adventurous mountain escape, and where?
I know the answer to this one.
I know Adam's on the beach doing nothing with a bucket of beer. And it would be in, I don't know. I know you like Mexico, but maybe you branch out. I don't know. Is there somewhere you really want to do that?
Warm with sand. You good?
Yeah. I like a combination of both. I don't want to just sit on the beach the entire time, nor do I want to be on a mountain. So I need both. I guess it would be like Greece or Italy, one of those places. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
She just got back from Portugal, so.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you were going there. Yeah, let's see here. I'm with Adam. My wife. I'll go if we're going to Mexican Christmas. We do Mexico for Christmas every other year, and this is our year to go to Mexico. She's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like I did last time. I rent a cabana every day and I sit in it, and I have the guy bring me buckets of Corona all day, and Connor just sits in front of me and plays in the sand. I just gotta stay awake.
You gotta throw a Pacifico in there every once in a while. Come on.
Yeah. You know, Modelo is like my favorite beer. I like buy Modelo. They don't serve it a lot down there.
I like that idea. We should do Mexico every other year.
I know. Why don't we do that?
That sounds way fun.
Hey, we'll meet you down there. Make it a party.
I enjoy doing that. I just also want to do like a ropes course or a river tour or something else.
Horseback riding, or
you can ride a horse on a beach.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for the extra 10 minutes too. But
thanks. I hope you can use some of it.
Oh yeah, no, we'll use it for sure. I enjoy it and share it, and Marianne will go in and chop it up. Did I
Cool.
record it?
Sorry, Marianne.
Did I record it? Yeah, I recorded it.
Oh my God,
I'm
Dustin.
kidding. All right, back to the top. So
God. You're like
no,
you're like the guy in that slingshot, right? He's like, "Hey, I think your seatbelt's loose," and they're frantically trying to get it tighter, and he hits the release button. You ever seen those videos? They strap the people in the metal ball and it's rubber
That's
bands.
me. Wow.
Shoot it into the air and it flies around like 300 feet into the air. Whatever. The ejection
I've
seat.
been in that.
So like
No.
the guy that gets them all hooked up, he gets them hooked up properly. But what they'll always do is mess with them and say, "Oh," and he's standing by the button to let him go. And then, "Oh, hey, you want to tighten your seatbelt? It looks like it's not lashed all the way." Like here, he goes, "No, hey, you got to get it quick. We got 10 seconds." Then it just hit the button and they think they're gonna fall out.
That would kill somebody.
Yeah,
that would, man. I'd have a heart attack. I think I'd die. I'd sue.
I would too.
Yeah, I know you would.
That's why I don't even get on roller coasters.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy your weekend. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You
Sounds
too.
good. Thank you.
We'll see you at Mexican Christmas.
For sure. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.